Welcome back, everybody. DCP channel. I am DCP. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Today we're going to start off with some more Illustrator tutorials, following off the very first one I did, how to get started with Adobe Illustrator. Feel free to check that out. If you're new to Illustrator, I want to help as many people as I can with this. So without further ado, today we're going to go over artboards, layers, and some shortcuts that can help you out throughout your process. And these shortcuts are going to kind of come in as we go along here. So to zoom out, what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control, and then while holding Control, we're going to hit the either plus or minus buttons on the keyboard. So if I hold Control and I hit the minus button, you will see here I have some more artboards set up. What we can do with these artboards, first, to create a new artboard, we're going to go over here to our left on our tool panel, and we're going to click this little icon right here. It says Artboard tool. Now you have a few options here. You can either go to Window on top, go down to Artboards, click that, and it'll pull up this side window right here. And it shows you how many artboards you have. It shows you what the names are. It shows you the orientation right here. And you can do a lot here. So you can rename your artboard. If I double click on the name itself, it gives me the option to name. So now this one is called name. So if I zoom out again with Control minus, you'll see that number 5 here is named name. Okay, so that's how you name artboards. You can also click on the artboard itself, highlighted here, and then up here you also have the option to rename it. So name 2, so on and so forth. So now this one's named name 2, and you have numbers that are assigned to each one. What we can do with artboards is I can have multiple artboards all over the place. I can set them up so that, let's just say this one here, I'm going to put all my logos on. This one here, I'm going to put all my emotes on. This one here, I'm going to put all of my sketches on. And this one here, I'm going to put all of my reference photos. So now we have a general idea as to what we have. So we didn't name all of them, but number 2 is sketches. Number 3 is my references. Number 4 is my emotes. Number 5 is name. And number 6 is logos. So that's a quick way to organize your artboards and get your space and your workflow organized. So that's how to create a new one and how to organize. Now, if you want to resize these, you have a few options here. You can either come up here with the artboard selected, come up here to the width and height, and you can change it here. So if I want to change this to 1000 by 1000, hit enter, and now it's 1000 by 1000. If I create this size and I want to create more like it, all I have to do is come up here and click the new artboard, and it will automatically take whatever size that's selected and duplicate it. Okay, so here's the second one. If I want to make another one, I'm going to select the one that I want the size of. So let's say it's this one. Hit new artboard, and bam, we got the same size for both of these. So that's a quick way to create new artboards. Make sure that they're the same size or the size that you want, and how to change the size as well. So up here, you can also go into properties over here on the right, or if it's not over here on the right, go to window, down to properties, and this section will pop up on your screen. An important check mark: move artwork with the artboard. If I move artwork with artboard, that means that if I move this artboard, all of the artwork is going to stay on that artboard. If I want to be able to move my artboards freely without the artwork moving, we uncheck that. Now if I move this artboard, the artwork stays where it is. It can be a big help when it comes to reorganizing your artboards, because if you have this checked off and you're trying to move things around and everything's sticking to the artboard, it makes it much more difficult. So like, for example, even if it's on the artboard that much and I have it selected, okay, move artwork with artboard, if I move this, it's going to stay where it is on that artboard because it's touching that artboard. So that's just a quick little way to go about that. If we want to save artboards, there's a way to use the artboard in, let's just use a PNG for example. If I want to save this yellow square, let's say as a PNG, it doesn't have any background, but I know that the size of the PNG has to be the size that I set this artboard up to. What we can do is we select this, we go File, Export Selection. Now when we do this, it comes up with a few options here. We have artboards and assets up here. If we click artboards, it's going to show us all the different artboards that we have, and we can select which one we want. We're going to select this artboard because this is the one we want, and we're going to hit Export Artboard. When I hit save, it pops up in the folder that I saved it in. If I double click on it, all we have is that yellow square. So that's a PNG. We save the PNG to the artboard. So if I go File Info, it's going to tell me that this is 920 by 613. If we go back to our file here, this square is not that size. It's the artboard that's that size. So that's a quick way to export as a PNG when the size of the artboard is what you need the outcome to be. So that's the basics around saving with artboards. Another shortcut that we were talking about earlier is Spacebar. Okay, so we're actually going to cross off the ones that we've gone over here. So to cross off in the type tool, you click this little character icon up here. There's a few options down here. You can change it to all caps, you can change it to all small caps, you can do superscript, subscript, you can underline, and you can strike through. So we're going to strike through here. So if we zoom in, we can see that it crossed out zoom in, zoom out. Now, next one we're going to go over is spacebar. So if I hit the spacebar right now and hold it, you're going to see that my cursor turned into a little hand. So I'm going to let go of the spacebar and it changes back. So the spacebar is used for clicking and dragging while you're holding the spacebar down to move your screen around. So if I need to go over here, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. So I can move to my other artboards. Between spacebar and zoom in, zoom out, you should be able to move around your artboards, move around your workspace pretty well. Now, another quick zoom in, zoom out feature that not many people know about is if I want to, let's say I want this artboard to be the size of my screen. So instead of Control plus to make it bigger, all we have to do is hit Control and then 0, the number 0. And it will automatically take whatever's selected and make it as big as it possibly can inside that screen. So that's another quick shortcut for you. Now, let's go over the other two shortcuts real quick. Let's go over Alt and then cut, copy, paste. So we have this rectangle. Alt is a great way to copy something without using the copy command. To run into cut, copy, paste, if I want to take this image and cut it, I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to hit X while it's selected and it cuts it. Now, if I wanted, let's say over here, Control V is paste. So hold down Control, hit the letter V, and we paste it back over here. So that's cut and paste. If I want two of these black squares, I can do it one of two ways. I can select it, hold down Control, and hit the letter C, and that will copy it. Now, if I hit click off of it, hold down Control, hit the letter V, it'll paste it, and then you can move it from there. So that's Control plus X is cut, Control plus C is copy, and Control plus V is paste. So those three letters are next to each other. So you can think cut, copy, paste in that order. X is cut, C is copy, V is paste. So if I highlight this square and I want to, let's just say, duplicate this 3 different times, instead of hitting Control C and then come on over here and hitting Control V once, clicking off, hitting Control V twice, clicking off, hitting Control V 3 times, all we have to do is hold down the Alt button. As you can see here, the arrow turns into 2 arrows. You have a black arrow and a white arrow. So if I just click and drag when I see that arrow, it's going to take a copy of that and place it down. So again, hold down Alt, see the double arrow, click and hold, let go. So you can do this multiple times without even having to hit Control. You're just holding down a button and copying it that way. Let's say I wanted to do another text box with something completely different. I can Alt and drag this over and I can change all of this to whatever I want. So it's a quick way to get another text box open. Let's say instead of going to text over here and then dragging it and so on and so forth. So if I have something that's supposed to be around the same size, I can just Alt drag it over. All right, so let's work with layers real quick. Our layers panel over here, okay? Our layers panel right here. We go to Window, down to Layers, or see, they give you the shortcut. So if I hit F7, boom, it gets rid of my layers. If F7 again, boom, there's my layers panel. So we can use that right now. So we can work inside of one layer or we can work inside of multiple layers. I'm going to highlight some of these. I'm going to move them over here. I'm going to delete the rest. Just so you know what I just did, I have the general selection tool selected. And if I click and drag, I can highlight a certain amount of things. So I can highlight a group of things. We're going to change some of these to different colors here. Make one red, make one blue, make this one yellow. So we have a red, a blue, and a yellow. Get rid of these, get rid of that one. So we're going to work with these 3 here. As you can see here, the blue is on top of the yellow, and the yellow is on top of the red. We're only working in one layer here. So we have ability to move these back and forth within this layer. So what I mean by that is if I right click on the object, okay, and I come down here to arrange, I have these 4 options: send to back, send backwards, bring forwards, or bring to front. And here's the control for each one of those. So if I send to back, it's going to push this blue one behind everything else on the screen. If I right click and I go to arrange and I go bring forward, you might not see it right away, but bring forward, it's going to slowly bring it forward to the front. So if I want this blue one to go all the way to the back behind everything, we just go send to back, and now it's behind everything. If I want to bring it to the front, we hit bring to front, and it brings it to the front of everything. So you can work and have many different layers inside of just one layer. Or you can make multiple layers. So you go over here to your layers panel. At the very bottom here, you have a little plus sign. So you hit that, creates another layer on top. The way these layers work is the topmost layer is going to be your topmost item. So if I take this blue box, okay, we have a blue outline around here, which represents this little color right here. We have a little button on the right here that says indicate selected art. So if I select this, okay, and if I just click and drag this little button up, it's going to move that to the top layer. So now we have all of this is on the bottom layer, because when we highlight it, it has a blue outline, and that blue outline goes with this color right here. If I highlight this blue box, it has a red outline, which represents this red color right here. So that's how you move things around inside of different layers. So if I want this yellow box to be on top, we just move it up one. Now we have the yellow and the blue on one layer. So now, since these are in one layer now, I can, if I don't want that blue behind that one, I can do bring to front. So now I have the blue in front of the yellow, and they're still on the same layer as we talked about before. So if I want everything on one layer, just move it up. Now everything's on one layer. Let's just say I want my text on this layer, and I want everything else on top. So whatever layer is on top is going to be what shows up on top on your actual artboard. So that's how you organize based on layers. I hope everybody got something out of this. We went over artboards, how to create new artboards, save artboards, and organize artboards. We went over how to work inside of one layer. We also worked inside of multiple layers. And I also taught you a few shortcuts that can help you with your workflow. So we have cut, copy, and paste. We have Alt, which is a copy tool. Spacebar, which helps you move around. And we also went in, zoom out, which is Control plus and minus. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you'd like to share this, anybody that's starting Illustrator, please do. More videos on the way. Going to be getting more and more detailed into different tools. I've gone on Reddit and I've asked what people would like to see for tutorials and tools, and I've gotten some responses. So we have some different videos for the future of this channel with this Illustrator tutorial series and how-to series. Once again, thank you very much for stopping by. If you'd like to hit that sub button, please do. Notification bell right next to it to be notified every time I upload a video. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at DCP Twitch, as well as Instagram is the same name as well. Once again, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you learned something today. As always, design your future, create your goals, produce the best you. I'll talk to you in the next one. DCP out.